The hidden reason for training in the off season. This is very simple. You just become more calloused. My dad was an iron worker, and his hands look different than mine. Right? I spend my time on a keyboard or on the phone, obviously, especially during camp season, and in the wrestling room. So you become calloused on the mat too. The kids who take 8 months a year and aren't engaging in the fights. I know a college coach. His wrestlers were getting in fights with the football team, and this team has won a couple of NCAA trophies over the years. So a top program, and there was a big battle. The athletic director brought these coaches in and basically said, this has got to stop. We got to work this out. And then, of course, there was a blame game, apparently, according to this wrestling coach. And, the football coach was saying, oh, they started, and his guys said they started. You know how it is. Well, finally, it kind of got heated between these coaches. And he's like, I just finally had to tell the guy, listen, your guys fight twice a year. My guys fight twice a day. That's what they do. They fight. That's how they earn their scholarship. They've been doing this since they were 6. Your guys will not win. They're going to keep getting beat up. They need to stay away. When they enter our guys on the street, no matter who starts it, your guys need to walk the other side of the street because they carry a football. My guys fight. They're not going to win. My guys have thousands of hours of fighting time. Your guys have probably been in 3 or 4 in their whole life. It's just a losing battle. You need to stay away from our wrestlers because someone's going to get hurt. And really, that is true. I mean, sure, the wrestling skills were a big part of the reason the football player couldn't beat up the wrestler. But a lot of it is just some people like it. They're used to it. And, there's a great Jordan Burroughs video where he talks about his first time he wrestled Brent Metcalf, and he said, I couldn't believe, that a guy could be so mean. And, he just not even care for the other guy at all. And he said, something like, all wrestlers want a match. He said, but Brent Metcalf wanted a fight. Or no, he wanted a war. And he goes, I wasn't ready for that. And, and it was pretty cool because here's, an Olympic champion. He says he had to, up his emotional game in order to compete on that level because he realized that he wasn't ready for a war. And so if you take 8 months a year off, and our guys are wrestling 45 minutes of live wrestling twice a week with state and national champs. Our high school room, we have college guys coming in. I think we had like 5 on Wednesday. So you come in here as a high school kid and you're wrestling state finalists and state medalists and state qualifiers and tough kids who just want to fight and get better. And even at the youth level, you got 3-time state champ over here. We have Indiana state champs driving in now to our Wednesday practice room. They're driving 8 hours round trip. It's crazy, but they do it. These kids are going to be banging, and if your wrestler is taking 8 months a year and they're not getting in these fights, and these kids are getting into a fight 1.5 hours a week or more, you're not going to have the callousness that they have. And oftentimes, the close matches go to the guys who are the most battle tested. Not to mention the skill aspect. I know in football, I think you can still take 8 months off and just lift weights and jog a little bit, and you can even get big time Division I scholarships. But gymnastics, diving, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, heck, even baseball. I read a good book. It was called The Sports Gene, I think. I've read several books on athletics. They're pretty good. But this basically says that, physiologically it should be impossible to hit a major league fastball because a lot of it is a feel. And there's like a sixth sense. And there's something called mental impressions. They're kind of subconsciously learned behaviors or subconsciously learned traits. It's a feel, and that's why I tell our guys all the time. People say, well, my son doesn't use the wrestling techniques, or my daughter, they don't use the wrestling techniques in the matches. And I'm like, even at the highest level, only half of your points come with a technique or a move. Half of them come from a feel. You got to get up there and go. And that's the reason, some kids can drill everything fantastically and then they don't use it in a live competition. It's because they don't have the feel for it yet. You just got to keep throwing them back out there. Say, keep live wrestling. It'll happen. It's a feel. And I use this as an analogy. You can have some hot shot master's degree from some business school, but the guy that's selling insurance, he's 53 years old. He's been selling insurance since he was 19, and here you come with a fancy degree from some big fancy business school, and you're selling insurance. This guy's going to kick the crap out of you because he has the sixth sense. He can read between the lines, and wrestling's much that way too. So not only is it the callousness and toughness that you are missing when you take 8 months a year off. 8 months a year for 4 years of high school is 32 months. That's 3 years almost. You took 3 years off and you wonder why you don't get college wrestling scholarships. It's mathematics, but a lot of it is the callousness, obviously the feel, but it also is just the technique time. These kids who are getting an extra 5, 10, 20,000 repetitions of drill time over a couple of years ahead of you, it's just, you're getting attacked from 3 different angles, and you're missing the boat. So I would encourage you to train in the off season. I do think it's pretty much mandatory. Sure, there might be some small towns where you can still win a state medal or a state title even. Certainly some states in the nation. I know a state, I'm not going to name it, they have 7 state champions, and this state's very low level of wrestling. Even though there's a few Division I schools in that state, 7 state champs per weight class. So the whole state champion thing is exciting, but the college coaches also look. They're like, you know what? You were a Class 4 Missouri. You got 2nd and 3rd, and this guy, from this state's a 3-timer. A lot of states. I think even Oklahoma has 5 state champions now. So you can probably get away with it, but I know that in St. Louis, there's certain teams you're not going to make varsity if you don't wrestle the year round, and much less win a state title or a state medal. So I think that certain people can get away with it, depending on the states that you're in and the competitiveness and how many state champs there are. If you're big schools or little schools, and obviously there's some different parameters there, but if the ultimate goal is to compete on the national level in high school and wrestle in college, then it doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter what town you're from. It doesn't matter how many state champs your state has in every class. You really got to put that off-season time in, and there's some 3 good reasons. So there's my 2 cents worth. You don't have to agree, but that's what I have found over the years, and you see it in gymnastics and so many other sports as well. So just my 2 cents worth. Hit subscribe, and good luck to everyone. PurlerWrestling.com. Come train with us.